Hey Gemini, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be doing your second half of original reading here. Now, a couple of announcements before I get into the meditation I just had for y'all. The Be Your Own Intuitive course is now open for registration. I've been talking about this for quite some time, so I'm excited to get into it with y'all and work with you guys individually. And we're going to be learning how to really tap into and hone your own intuitive abilities so that you can be your own intuitive. We're just going to be partnered work and exercises and question and answer time and community and just a good old grand time. So all that information on how to register is on our website, listed in the description box below. Also, guys, I have a newsletter now. I do book recommendations and current obsessions and a monthly animal energy. And I'm actually having the time of my life with this new newsletter. So how to sign up for that is also over on the website. So, all right, let's get right into your meditation. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what is your personal deprivation tank? Sensory deprivation tank. What is your own personal sensory deprivation tank? So for those of y'all who aren't familiar, a deprivation tank is something where it literally just deprives you of your senses, as it were. It removes the stimuli around you, right? It's like this, it looks like a big pod, like a big egg filled with, water, not all the way, obviously, but enough water. You go inside of it and, you float on that water in the darkness, just in complete silence, without light and sound and all of the external stimuli that affects us, on a day-to-day basis. I saw for you guys, it was really fascinating. I saw the Emerald City from Wizard of Oz, okay? And then I saw the Emerald City be submerged into the bottom of the ocean, right? So I saw the Emerald City at the bottom of the sea. And then I heard good old Sir Elton John singing Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And I heard, the lyric, when are you going to come down? When are you going to land? Right? Something, should have listened to my old man. Like that in the water. And I saw the Gemini collective enter into this, the Emerald City as depicted in the Wizard of Oz, that big, beautiful, glowing emerald green building, and going into it. And it was like this inner world of just peace, absolute peace with oneself, peace with one's circumstances, peace with one's surroundings. It was like this beautiful sense of release, like the ultimate vacation, like the ultimate vacation of mind, body, spirit, completely free, right? Completely free. That's why I want to ask you, what is your own personal sensory deprivation tank? That's what you're being asked right now. And that's where it feels like the wisdom that you're looking for, the answers that you're looking for, the clarity, the inspiration, the peace of mind, the calm, I want to say, is quite literally at the bottom of the deep blue sea, which I feel like is, also the ocean itself symbolizes the unknown. I feel like a theme for a lot of you guys right now is you have a lot more questions than you do answers. Yes, that is part of the human, experience and everything, but I feel like it's a little extra with you guys right now where yes, I could say you're being called to embrace the unknown, but it feels deeper than that. It feels like everything, the answers that you're looking for, the clarity, like I said, and the comfort is that you're seeking is not necessarily accessible to you where you currently are, doing what you're currently doing. So you're being asked to change it up and find your own sensory deprivation tank. Removing, I want to say freeing yourself from all the stimuli around you. And I cannot tell you how good it feels in doing that. Let's see what your animal energy is. Oh, but of course, Nightingale, yes indeedy. So this is really beautiful here. The Nightingale is very much about what you say and how you say it. It's about using your words. This is beautifully depicted by this blue here with the color of the throat chakra, right? This beautiful air energy from air sign coming up here with y'all, Gemini. Nightingale is about maybe saying things that have needed to be said for an extra long time. And maybe that's where the clarity comes at the bottom of the deep blue sea for you, where you're removing that external stimuli. A lot of these questions, more questions than you have answers right now. Perhaps that's what I'm clicking into. Maybe you're looking, to how to say something, how to communicate something. Also communicating things within and for yourself as well. But at the end of the day, this is about using your voice. Now, the nightingale. What I love about the nightingale is that the nightingale can say this, the most difficult to hear things, those really hard truths, but it's the way that it goes about it that it is received in exactly the nature in which it's intended. Meaning, it's not, sugarcoating it. It's just saying it free of judgment, right? Free of insinuation, right? Free of any hard feelings. It's speaking the truth with consideration, okay? Speaking the truth with consideration. Also the fact that it's a nightingale as well, and we're talking about the darkness and all of that, it's very dark at the bottom of the sea, all of that good stuff. There's this aspect of, I do get this feeling that maybe there are truths, there's things that need to be said that you've been sitting on for quite some time, some of which surprise you. And I do feel like for some of you guys, this has to do with family, because family knows just how to push, family is like, it hits to the core of all things, right? But I feel like this either has to do with family or with pre-existing relationships. I also feel like there is an aspect of this that has to do with you. Admitting things to yourself, being willing to look at aspects of yourself, right? I want to ask you, I'm getting this message around, what are you avoiding looking at and why? Think about that. It doesn't have to be ripping a Band-Aid off and chafing in the hot sun. Like, I'm getting a very funny image around athletic shorts that don't quite fit right and someone running through the heat and their thighs chafing. Like, I know that's really specific, but that's what I'm getting. It feels like whatever you're up against or facing or whatever you have to do or whatever you're feeling right now feels a bit like the chafing, right? But it's like, just change your shorts. Like, I know that sounds funny, but there's an aspect of it doesn't have to be as challenging, difficult, or as uncomfortable as it is in your mind. And you're being asked to really look at why, your relationship to how things go, whether it be difficult or easy. What is your relationship to speaking the truth in communication? What patterns did you see growing up that maybe you inherited, right? I'm completely obsessed. The sun. So you have the nightingale and the sun. Hi. Hello. Light and dark, secrets and truth, right? Illumination and the unknown, the subconscious and the conscious, right? So we have these two aspects here of light and dark. I'm hearing the truth will set you free. Really enough. The truth will set you free. And again, I feel like, for some of you guys, this really has a lot to do with inner truth, like I said, and seeing yourself clearly. And for others of you, it has to do with that, plus communicating a needed truth to someone or someones that you care deeply for. Again, I do feel like for a group of you guys, this is family. Other, it could be friendships that, you feel like you've outgrown, or there's something you need to say around it. It's going to be different for everybody, but this is speaking the truth and illumination, but also the truth setting you free. I also want to point out, remember how I saw the image of someone running in the hot sun with the athletic shorts and the chafing? Do you see how this dude has his little legs open and it's like he's like, oh, no chafing here. I just took the shorts off. This feels so much better. So I feel like there's something in that. The way that you go about things, I feel like there's a easier option that comes to you through inspiration of just, and again, this is like a sensory deprivation aspect too, but just in the light aspect of it. Right? And look, he's just chilling, like completely meditating and being here. This is your advice right now, right? The answers you seek lie in the stillness and your own personal sensory deprivation tank, okay? All right. But the sun is like really good feeling. I keep hearing it. The truth will set you free. Oh, Gemini, you better work it out. The Ace of Wands, are you serious? Is this a firefly? Is this a light in the darkness? Is this variations on a theme? Look at how beautiful this is. I'm obsessed. Look at this. Okay. Does the firefly still shine brightly if no one is around to see it glow? Heard that. There's this aspect here. I'm so obsessed with this. Nightingale and sun, light and dark, and then you have the firefly shining in the darkness. There is this sensory deprivation tank party one. Hello. There is this aspect here of what do you do and what are your thoughts and inner life and stillness when no one is looking? When you're just on your own, can you observe yourself from that perspective and allow yourself free reign? I feel like there's a restriction. There's a certain it's like going about things a certain way that maybe a little bit more, you think it's going to be difficult, or there's a difficulty to it, maybe because that's how your parents did it, because that's how you've always done it. You didn't know there was a better option or an easier option, right? I'm getting this very specific, it's kind of funny what they're showing me. I'm getting this very specific image of a bearded dragon. A bearded dragon in an enclosure. And that reptiles, especially bearded dragons, they conserve their energy because they're cold-blooded, right? So I'm seeing this image of a bearded dragon and crickets being released into this enclosure. I've become friendly with a bearded dragon in the recent past years. I think that's why they're showing me that. It's a beautiful example of it, though, and in the sensory deprivation tank aspect of it, too. So, the crickets being released into the beardy's enclosure, and it doesn't run after every cricket because it understands that if it just stays where it is, the cricket eventually will cross its path because there's only so many places to go within the tank. Therefore, it conserves its energy. That is also the message of the Ace of Wands and the Firefly here, because the Firefly, the shadow side of it is that it gets burnt out and tired because it takes a lot of energy to shine this bright light. So I would also say, I feel like the message in here is also to conserve your energy, but also I'm feeling to conserve your mental energy as well. Don't overthink it. Remember, wands are about the actions that we take. And I feel like there's something here about you will know what to do and when to do it. It will come to you if you allow yourself the space to listen and be open to that inspiration and guidance. And I'm getting this feeling that it's not going to come to you from seeking it out. It's going to come right to you. It's just about assuming this position and allowing it space to do that, right? I keep seeing this image of the universe trying to give you the answer, like the final piece to a puzzle, but you keep flying about and just missing it, right? That there is this theme of stillness here. All three of these keys. The nightingale is, standing still. Definitely sitting still here with this sun key, and the dragonfly is still inside of its own sensory deprivation tank. Ace of Wands traditionally is a brand fresh new start. It's a burst of energy and inspiration. This is yours. It is right here. It is right here. I feel like it's coming to you anyway, to be quite honest with you. I feel like Spirit is just like, do you want to go about the easy way or the hard way? Are you tired yet? I just heard that. Are you tired yet? Are you tired yet? Judgment. Couldn't be less surprised to see this. You have two major arcanas here, and they're really juicy ones too, with the Sun and Judgment here. The Judgment, also note, these reindeer are definitely standing still with this sleigh full of presents. I feel like this is exactly what I've been talking about. And they definitely have these, what are those, bells on their necks? There really is something here about allowing this inspiration or some of these questions to be answered through stillness and receptivity. What is your own sensory deprivation tank? Create that for yourself. Be honest with yourself about what that looks like, right? Judgment traditionally is about your relationship to the choices that you've made in the past, and also the choices that you will make in the future too. Because the question is your past going to subconsciously influence the decisions that you make in the future, right? Are you a product of your past or a reaction to your past, right? That's the question. Because it is up to us, and we have the ability and privilege and pleasure of allowing our past to inform our future decisions, right? As opposed to influencing them. Informing over influencing. That's it. I feel like that's the key to this whole thing. Allowing your past to inform what you do next, as opposed to influence what you do next, okay? This came up in the Aquarius reading, actually. I'm hearing that there's no right or wrong. There's only choices made from love and choices made from fear. That's it. There's no right or wrong. There's only choices made from love and choices made from fear. I literally just said Aquarius reading and you got the star, which is the Aquarius key. Hello and goodbye. I'm also drawn to the fact that this is darkness with, stars that are shining brightly in the sky. Hi, this is great love. This is hope. This is illumination. This is faith. This is serendipity. Right? Also back to this water and going to the bottom of the sea here. You have the sun and the star. Can we just take a moment? You have the sun and the star. Both of these, this is about illumination, right? In the bright light of day, and this is illumination in the darkness and the unknown. You have both of these, Gemini. This feels like a very important time for you. I don't know if that was obvious or not, But this feels like a very important time for you, but I want to impress upon you that all of this is simply an opportunity within the energy. It is absolutely up to you what you do with it and whether you take this opportunity as an opportunity, right? Because you can opt out of this. You can go, you know what, I'm not quite there. I'm just going to stay where I am and just live in these questions. And I'm just not quite there where I'm ready to really like go inside, look within, remove stimuli, do something different and not be afraid. It's about a willingness to see what you're not seeing well, right? When things feel especially difficult, Gemini, I'm getting this for you, sometimes you are the architect of that difficulty, and that might surprise you to hear. Being the architect of your own difficulty, right? That's what it feels like for you. And it's trite, but I really am hearing, it's like what Glinda, the Good Witch, said to Dorothy, the power has always been and always will be within you. That's what I feel like it's saying with the sun and the star as well. And this is going to come from you. And I'm just going to say this as well. I don't necessarily feel that this has a lot to do with like talking to your friends for advice or like, asking a bunch of questions of other people or looking at how other people have done things in comparison. This really feels like this is all about you and coming from you. And let me tell you something. When you get guidance that comes from deep within you, there is a feeling of trust that accompanies it that does not come with getting advice from other people. Truth. Okay? Ace of Wands. Wow, Gemini. This is really, really cool. It feels like a really, it's funny the cards were in a different order. But that's really interesting. There's this one card that was faced the opposite way in here. I feel like that's your key here. So this is this is so stunning. So this is 3 of Pentacles and it says work right on here. And what's really funny, this also came up in the Aquarius reading. So there's a lot of Aquarius energy here. I feel like that's pertinent. Some of you guys, yes, you have Aquarians in your energies, family members, friends that are important to you. It could having to do with this Nightingale energy too. This Nightingale is also sometimes equated with the Queen of Swords. So you've got that fellow air sign energy here, which is really nice as well. Aquarians are also the innovators of the zodiac. They're really well known for having taking the side door in terms of a solution to a perceived problem. They're the expert at the side door approach, right? While everyone's trying to get in the front door, they know exactly where the side door is and the magic words to say to get the door to open, and they know the password. Like, you know what I mean? That's Aquarians for you all day. So there is this aspect here of, with this 3 of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles is what you particularly are good at, your particular skill set. I want you to ask yourself, what is your particular skill set? What are you really good at? Are you a really good critical thinker? Are you really good at organizing? Are you really good at, seeing patterns in things that other people don't necessarily see? How do things speak to and for you? Really look at that. That's Ace of Wands here too, because I feel like there's a hint here as well as in the work that you do in your relationship to it. I feel like I'm reading for a group of you guys that are particularly gifted at something, right? And you're being asked to delve more into that, give more life to that, and allow that, for some of you guys, allow that to be your sensory deprivation tank. Allow what you particularly are skilled at to be your own sensory deprivation tank. What do I mean by that? Because the sensory deprivation tank, it's a metaphor. It's not, I'm not saying like, well, you could go find you an actual, sensory deprivation tank, live your life. But I feel like in this context, this is like, what is that for you? What do you do, right? Where you just feel completely at peace. You're not in your head in a negative way. You feel like you are in a place of being truly present. I'm going to give you an example of the personal sensory deprivation tank. My personal sensory deprivation tank is when I'm painting. Even more so than when I'm journaling, right? But I love to journal, but for me, it's painting. When I paint, time flies. I don't care about anything else other than the canvas and the paints and the brushes and whatever I've got in a mug, my tea or coffee or whatever, right? That is a sensory deprivation tank. So what is that for you? Because, and for the record, oftentimes when I have questions about something or I have a problem and I go to paint, and I spend the time that way, and I just spend time outside of thinking about it, I often have the solution by the end. By the time I'm done painting, I'm like, God, I didn't even think of it this way. Because it allows you to carve out new neural pathways in your mind. It's that side door to something, right? Really consider that. I feel like some of you guys are approaching some of these questions that you have from a very direct and head-on perspective. If it's not working for you, create this for yourself, right? Create this tank for yourself. I'm seeing something very particular. Okay. Ooh, that's exciting. So, so for those, I'm just getting a very specific example. So for those of you guys that are writers, right? You love to write, you're skilled at writing. Maybe your own sensory deprivation tank is actually making like just for an example, let's say you have a question about how you do something or whether or not you do something. Writing down a pros and con list, pros and cons, right? And allowing yourself to write paragraphs and images and draw things on this pro and con list. And you can add to it and erase from it and think about it and step back from it. Have this pro and con list like right there in your atmosphere that you can work with in a tangible way that has a relationship to you doing what you're good at, as in using your words and being a writer, right? So maybe if you work with, for example, if you work with numbers, right, and you're not necessarily a writer, but you have an ability to see patterns in numbers, then you can make some sort of spreadsheet, right? Where it's like you're evaluating the risk and you're evaluating the reward and you're looking at, but do it for yourself in a side door kind of way. Make yourself the spreadsheet. Look at your past decisions, disappointments, and patterns and how they be subconsciously informing the choices that you make now. Again, are you making choices from a place of fear or a place of love, right? Spreadsheet yourself, right? Whatever that is for you, okay? Maybe it's a marriage between the two and you're painting by numbers, right? Your clarifier, I'm so completely obsessed with this and how this is depicted as well. Your clarifier for judgment is the Six of Wands, which is victory. Look at how stunningly beautiful this is. It really is giving me Samhain or, Halloween vibes as well. And we are happening upon the autumnal equinox. Yes, Lord. So I like how this is coming up, especially with these colors. So you see this hawk coming down on this poor snake, right? But I got to tell you what I'm getting from this. Snakes are about transformation and about shedding one's skin to enter into a new cycle. This is showing, because traditionally Six of Wands is victory in a way that feels so good. I feel like you, quite literally, because it is clarifying the judgment key. This is you having victory and experiencing victory of your past decisions, your inner workings, and the choices that you're going to make. This is saying that you will be completely successful should you choose to embark on this path and do this work. Although I don't really want to call it work, but that's what it is, right? You are going to be successful in allowing your past to inform your choices moving forward, right? Inform them, right? As opposed to influence them. This feels so important. This is how we don't repeat. This is how we allow the past not to repeat itself as well, if you have fear around that, okay? Inform over influence. This is really beautiful. This is really, really beautiful. I feel like you are quite literally having victory in this transformation and this change moving forward. This is also a lot about making peace with your past, just like I said, and that feels really pertinent as well. Forgiving yourself too for choices that you made and forgiving others for choices that they made. Remember, we're all just doing the best that we can. The person, or that you have to have, have it out with, have some truth with, communicate to, whether this is, mom, dad, brother, sister, friend, lover, whatever, whoever this is. Keep in mind as well, again, with the Nightingale, saying things in a considerate but truthful way. Remember, even in the past, those who've hurt us or did us wrong, they were doing the best that they could with what they had coming from where they came from, just like you are. If you can approach it with that love in your heart, with that compassion and that understanding and that patience, that's the key. That truly is the key, okay? Whoa. Okay, let's get an oracle for you guys. I'm feeling this vintage today. Feeling this vintage. Yes. Okay. Oh, yep. Okay. Yeah. So we have balance here, which is really, really beautiful. I want to put balance is always a good idea. I'm getting a special message though about Sagittarius season for you. Feels pretty pertinent. Sagittarius season begins on November 22nd and runs through Labor. I think it's November 21st or 22nd, around there. That time frame feels particularly apt and important for you around everything that we're looking at here. Okay? because temperance, balance, Sagittarius season. Number 2, do you see this hummingbird here and how she's like on her pointy toes here, but she's looking at this hummingbird? Again, by the way, back to this color blue here with the nightingale and the throat chakra, right? I'm getting this as a special message to balance the information and what you have to communicate. Again, it's literally saying the same thing with sweetness, right? And consideration and patience, right? It's about balancing that. But I'm also hearing to balance this with and for yourself as well. Show yourself the same compassion and sweetness and patience, right? The hummingbird is also about love, romantic love, happiness, feel good vibes. I do feel like you have someone around you in your support system, whether this is a friend, a love, whatever have you, that is absolutely on your side and supporting you with and through this as well. So don't forget all of the sweetness and support you do have around you during this as you embark upon, this beautiful, beautiful crux of change into a really beautiful time for you, a new way of being and living. You also have truth here, mirrored truth. Look at those mirrors here. Everyone is a mirror. Everyone is. It's really, really true. We are mirrors with and for each other. That's part of the human experience. I feel like this is your sensory deprivation tank that we've been talking about, which is going to allow you to see you more clearly in your relationships to your choices and the choices that other people made that have affected you more clearly. Therein lies the key, okay? Gemini, this is your second half of November general reading here. I am all about this. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, thank you for being you. And be well until next time.